What's up, everybody? Let's talk. Let's talk about life, okay? I've been doing these 30-minute thinking sessions. I'm going to start a new little series on YouTube. It's going to be called 30-minute thinking sessions or something like that. But what I've been doing is I've been forcing myself to sit down in this chair for 30 minutes and do absolutely nothing except think. And let me tell you, I heard somebody else talk about the benefits of doing this and how he gets all these insights and inspirations and how his mind just goes crazy. Let me tell you guys, this is not easy. You get so many things that flow through your mind, and the rule is that you have to stay here. You can't bring a notebook and pen with you. You have to do absolutely nothing except think. And I'm getting all these insights, all these inspirations, and all I want to do is go and write them down. You know, you get a good idea, you don't want to lose it. How many times have you had a wonderful idea and then something sidetracks you and you come back and you're like, oh, what was it? Could have been the next Facebook. Could have been the next Snapchat. I could be a billionaire. Okay, maybe not, but these ideas could be good ideas. Anyways, and also, you have your phone going off. People are texting you, calling you. You know, what if it's an emergency? You know, I found that, they'll live. Whoever it is trying to get a hold of you, 30 minutes of their time not being able to contact you, they're going to be okay. But anyways, I get so many thoughts, so many inspirations. So I figured after the 30 minutes, I'm just going to share with you what I was thinking about that whole time. So this is going to be the first episode, and I was thinking about being a role model. I was thinking about becoming a role model. You know, I grew up, didn't have a father, didn't have the best role models, grew up in a not so good neighborhood, and I was thinking, I really didn't have a role model that I really looked up to, somebody who I said, I want to be like him. I really didn't have one of those until about 9th grade. It was my basketball coach. He was the very first guy who I could say, I want to emulate that guy. I want to be like him. But what I want to talk to you about today is that you are probably a role model to somebody right now, and you don't even know it. No matter who you are, no matter how old you are, what you look like, what the weight says when you step on the scale, what color your skin is, no matter what, I guarantee you that somebody is watching the way that you do things, and they are basing their actions off of what they see you do. Now, let me explain how I started to think about this. When I was 19 years old, I was still living in the neighborhood that I grew up in. I didn't go off to a university right away. I actually did 2 years in community college, and my first or second year, I don't know, in community college, I was playing basketball in college, and I would always go to the rec center in my neighborhood. I was a lifeguard at the pool that was attached to the rec center. I spent a lot of time at the pool and at the rec center, and I got to see a lot of the young kids. And a lot of the young kids there looked up to me, and I played basketball. They wanted to be as good as me. I wanted to be like these pro athletes. Well, to an 11-year-old, you are that pro athlete. They see you and they're like, wow, I hope I can dunk one day and stuff like that. So anyways, I'm 19 years old, and there's this little kid, and I teach him a little bit about basketball. He asks me pointers, I help him out. And then one day, he comes up to me and he says, hey, Nate, if I get you a schedule, he said, I made the basketball team. I made the 6th grade basketball team for my middle school. If I get you a schedule, will you come to one of my games? I'm like, oh, that's awesome, man. I'm proud of you. You made the team. Congratulations. Of course I will come to one of your basketball games. So a couple weeks goes by, and he comes up to me in the rec center, and he says, hey, Nate, I got you a schedule. You said, will you really come to one of my games? I said, absolutely. I was like, I'll be at this game. So a couple days goes by. It's like a Thursday or something, and I go to his game, and I take my girlfriend at the time. This was, 6 years ago, something like that. And I take my girlfriend at the time, and we sit down on the bleachers. And before the game, he's warming up. He comes up to me. I shake his hand. I can't wait to see you play, buddy. And he's 11 or 12. And this woman walks up to me, and she says, hey, is your name Nate? And I said, yeah, I'm Nate. And she said, I'm not going to say his name. She said, I'm so-and-so's mom. And I found out later, his parents he didn't have the best home life. His parents, they loved him, but they had their struggles, you know? And she comes up to me, this is his mother, and she says, "Are you Nate?" I say, "Yeah." And she says, "You don't know how much so-and-so looks up to you." I said, "Yeah, you know, I give him a couple pointers, this, that." She said, "No, you don't understand. He watches you while you play basketball. He watches you go into the weight room and work out, and he comes home and he does push-ups and he does sit-ups and he does these things that he sees you doing. And he stands in his mirror and he looks at himself in the mirror and he flexes and says, 'I'm gonna be like Nate. I'm gonna be like Nate.'" And I'm this 19-year-old kid, and I'm like, holy crap, I had no idea that this kid was watching my every move and doing what he saw me doing. Now, what I want you to know is that no matter who you are, no matter what age you are, no matter what you look like, I can guarantee you that there are people who are looking up to you. If you're a teacher, I can guarantee you that your students are watching the way that you do things and basing what they do off of you. If you're a parent, I can guarantee you that your kids and the friends of your kids are watching the way that you do things and basing their actions off of what they see you do. It's so funny to me. I did have one mentor before my high school basketball coach. He's mentored me from the day I was born until now. He still mentors me to this day. I still look up to him, and he is still a role model to me. I call him on the phone from time to time, but the only thing is when I was a kid, he lived in a different state, so I didn't see him that much. But we would get together on holidays and stuff like that, and every single time, he would plant a little seed in my head, and I didn't understand it when I was younger, but now that I'm older, I'm just like, Uncle Tim, I know, I see what you were doing, but let me just tell you the story. So I looked up to my Uncle Tim. My mom one day was like, "How would you like to go visit Uncle Tim?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I can't wait to see Uncle Tim." So I go to my Uncle Tim's house. He lived in Ohio. I lived in Pennsylvania. And I go there and I took my skateboard. I love to skateboard. And I was about 11 or 12 years old myself. And so my Uncle Tim took me to this skate park. And so I'm riding around at this skate park, dropping in on these big ramps. I'm crushing the game. There's older kids. They're like, "Oh my gosh, you see that little kid dropping in on the biggest ramp?" I was killing the game. And I was pretty good for being young. And afterwards, we were driving home. See if you can catch what my Uncle Tim did here. So we were driving home, and my Uncle Tim was like, "Hey, Nate, who's your favorite skateboarder?" And I was like, "Tony Hawk. Tony Hawk's the man. He's a beast." And then my Uncle Tim was like, "You know, they found a guy who was a better skateboarder than Tony Hawk." And I'm like, "No way." I'm like, "Who is he? Who is he?" And my Uncle Tim's like, "But he was doing drugs and he just wasn't living the right way. He got arrested and he got put in jail. So he was better than Tony Hawk, but he'll never get to use his talents. He'll never get to showcase his talents because he wasn't living the right way. He wasn't doing what you're supposed to do." And immediately what that did for me was that in my mind, since that moment, I associated negativity to drugs. I associated pain to drugs. In my mind, as soon as he said that, I immediately thought, well, I'll never do drugs because I want to be this professional skateboarder. So if I do drugs, then I'm going to go to jail and I won't be able to do that. So I only realized that once I got older. But Uncle Tim, you are a sly fellow, because these messages that I've been taught way back in the day, these messages that you are teaching your children, they are going to realize when they are older, and they're going to thank you for that later. So thank you, Uncle Tim, and everybody else. Realize that the messages that you're giving to your kids, your students, the people in your neighborhood, the people even older than you, anybody around you, the things that you are doing and the messages that you are giving and the images that you are portraying to these people, they are going to thank you for. They're looking at you to understand how they should be living life. Anyways, that is the conclusion that I've come to during this 30 minutes of thinking, and the message that I want to portray to you within this video is that no matter who you are, someone is looking up to you. Someone is watching what you do and taking actions based on what they see you do. This is Nathaniel Morton telling you to be the role model that you needed when you were younger. Thanks, guys.